It's been a long time. It's just been a very busy moment. It's a long time I did a video. Guys, please pardon me. Um, this matters arising for Arsenal, and just want to talk about two major things. Andre Beta, that's the first one, and then our chances in the Champions League. It's just going to be a very short video, just to talk about the most important thing about Arsenal right now. Yeah, so it's the international break, and I don't like the international break. Apart from the fact that it doesn't make us talk about Arsenal, but the momentum is sort of killed most times when it's international break. The momentum from a fan perspective and from the club perspective is always, on a downhill when it's the international transfer break. But first of all, Andre Beta. Arsenal have hired a new sporting director, Andre Beta, former sporting director of Atletico Madrid. And listen, not to sound pessimistic, it's like paper over the cracks right now because when they hire a new director and then it pretty much just brings back the wrong memories that we had for last summer and the last January transfer window. And when you review that transfer window or lack of it and what it has done to our transfer title, it's nothing to be, excited about. But having said that, I think Andre Beta with, listening from the pundits, reading about him and seeing how Atletico Madrid has just been sort of the club on the high over the last 7-8 years, the kind of players that they have and the method in which they complete their transfer window, I'll take it as a positive. Arsenal needs some level of stability in the dressing room. Look, people are forgetting that there was a tussle between Ivan Gazidis and Wenger for a long time, where Wenger was actually the main boss, and Ivan Gazidis was, trying to just, carve his niche within the Arsenal board space, especially with, Dean leaving, Peter Hillwood leaving. That space was vacated. There was a huge clash between them. And when Wenger left, Gazidis left as well, And then, Gazidis leaving, we came up with Rahul Sanheri, Sven Mislintat, Vina Vakentesh, sorry if I butchered his name. All those guys came up. Rahul Sanheri left again. Mislintat left. I think Mislintat left first. There's just been, and then, Richard Gallic came in. Tim Lewis came in. I think Tim Lewis is actually the main guy. Tim Lewis came in and shook up shook up things within the board space. There's not been a lot of stability. And then, I think Edu came in during Rahul Sanheri's era. And, when it just felt like he was the one, running things, he left as well. So I think maybe, bringing in Andre Beta could bring a little bit of stability in that front. But for me, I think this is how I would it's too early to start assessing the appointment. And, if you're an Arsenal fan, experience must have taught you that everything that happens at Arsenal shouldn't just be applauded right away. Because look, as an Arsenal fan, it's the hope that kills you. You expect something happens, but it turns out to be not the best thing that has happened. So for me, the first thing I want Andre Beta to come in and actually be the sporting director. The situation I want is, first, I want Mikel Arteta to report to him. I don't want them to work together. I want it to be like some checks and balances. If the manager makes a decision, I want the sporting director to be the guy to question whatever the manager is doing. And I think that was the kind of, work relationship he had with Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid. And that's what I want at Arsenal, because I feel, apart from the fact that Mikel Arteta feels to be very tactically stubborn, he's also a rookie manager. I bet the fact that I still believe that he's going to be a very seasoned manager in the future. He's also very inexperienced. You know, when you compare, making, you know, comparisons with the kind of club as big as Arsenal that he's handling, and his profile and his lack of experience, I don't think there is any other club in the world right now where you can actually, sense that kind of relationship. That kind of relationship Mikel Arteta has with Arsenal. Arsenal is a massive, massive club, and Arteta has not had any prior experience in the bag to manage a club like Arsenal. But here we are. We can complain about that. So, with Andrew Beta coming, you go on X and you go on Twitter Spaces and you go on Arsenal blogs and everything. Everybody's just throwing numbers around. People are saying things like he's gonna sign in Zubimendi, gonna sign in Gumares, gonna sign in. New rumors today was we're getting Gyökeres, we're getting Isak. I don't think he would come in and just be functional right away. But having said that, whatever player he brings in, I hope it fits into the philosophy of Arsenal, because I bet the fact that we don't spend money like other teams. The money that we've spent has not been effective in line with the way we used to spend, or the way we should have spent the money. They're not aligned. We've actually spent money. The left eight is still not the way Arteta wants to play. He's playing the left eight role, which for me, there's just more than one way to play football. But if he wants to continue that in that route, that left eight role has not been fixed yet. The striker has not been fixed. We don't have dynamic wingers who can actually do things on their own. We don't have that yet. So I hope this is the moment where I would expect Andrea Beta to come in and get all these things sorted out. So, positive kudos, positive reviews on that front. We await what is going to happen. Then the next one very quickly is the Champions League. I know we're in the transfer window and we are going to be facing Real Madrid. And again, listen, I'm not trying to sound pessimistic. At the start of the season, I was never thinking the Champions League was going to be the trophy we'll go for. It was the last in my bucket. I looked at the Premier League, I looked at the domestic cups. Those were the ones that I felt we had realistic chances of, making something happen. But here, where we found ourselves, against all odds, we made it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And listen, I'm going to take that. But we're facing Real Madrid, a team who is historically seasoned for this competition. Apart from just them being seasoned, they have an unbelievable squad. A squad that you can only dream of if you're an Arsenal fan. So I don't see us going past Real Madrid. But listen, as an Arsenal fan, you can always hope, And then the fact that we found ourselves in this very precarious situation where we don't have strikers and we're so short in the forward areas. Bukayo Saka is injured, Jesus is injured, Kai Havertz is injured. The inconsistencies of Trossard and, Martinelli. If anyone is so young. And, plus the fact that even before the summer started, having all these players fit, we were still short in those areas. We can only hope. I don't expect us to do anything major. I don't expect changes to happen. But listen, if we can just nip it and beat Real Madrid, and get into the semifinals of the Champions League, I'm all for it. You can never say never. Historically, the Champions League has not been favorable for us, but you can never say never. And I think I like the underdog tone. Real Madrid fans and all the enemies, the opposing fans, none of them have given us any hope whatsoever to get past Real Madrid. But I think I like that position. Defensively, I think it's still our strongest point. Midfield-wise, if Arteta does and plays the right way, attacking-wise, we just have to ground it out, and, try and score Real Madrid and defend with our lives. Yeah, other than that, those are the 2 points I just wanted to tackle.